Imagine a time when mighty warriors sailed the seas, when their longships struck fear into the hearts of those who saw them. Welcome to the world of the Vikings. The Vikings, a group of seafaring warriors from Scandinavia, are known for their era of dominance from the 8th to the 11th centuries. Their homeland, a land of fjords, mountains, and harsh winters, was the crucible that forged these hardy people into what they were: a society of explorers, traders, and fearsome warriors. The Vikings are often visualized as bloodthirsty marauders, but this is only a small fragment of their story. They were also skilled seafarers, their longships a testament to their prowess. These vessels, with their sleek design and shallow draft, were marvels of their time, capable of navigating both high seas and shallow rivers. This versatility opened up a world of possibilities, allowing the Vikings to travel as far west as America and south to the Mediterranean, leaving their mark along the coasts and rivers of Europe. But it wasn't just their maritime skills that made the Vikings stand out. They were also fierce warriors. The mere sight of a Viking longship, its dragon-headed prow slicing through the waves, was enough to send chills down the spine of any observer. Their reputation preceded them, often causing panic and chaos before they even set foot on shore. Armed with swords, axes, and shields, they fought with a ferocity that still resonates through the annals of history. Yet the Vikings were not mindless brutes. They had a complex society with laws and traditions, a rich mythology, and a pantheon of gods that guided their lives. They were poets and politicians, craftsmen and farmers, as well as warriors. They left behind a legacy of sagas and runes, tales of heroes and gods that continue to captivate us today. While they were feared for their raids, the Vikings were much more than just warriors. Their story is one of exploration and innovation, of strength and survival. It's a story that spans centuries and continents, a story that continues to fascinate us today. Now let's delve into the heart of Viking society, a complex structure that went beyond the battlefield. Viking society was a fascinating tapestry of social classes, roles, and familial bonds. At the top of this social ladder were the Jarls, the noble class, followed by the Carls, the free farmers and craftsmen. At the bottom were the thralls, the slaves, who were primarily war captives. Each of these classes had their roles and responsibilities. The Jarls were the decision-makers, the leaders. The Carls, on the other hand, were the backbone of Viking society, producing food and goods essential for survival. The thralls provided labor, working in fields, homes, and workshops. But Viking society wasn't just a male-dominated world of warriors and raiders. Women held significant roles too. They managed the household, raised the children, and when their husbands were away, they took over the farms and businesses. They were the glue holding Viking society together. Family was a cornerstone of Viking life. Children were cherished and considered a blessing. Both parents were actively involved in raising their offspring, passing on their skills, knowledge, and the Viking way of life. Family ties were strong, and loyalty to one's kin was a value held in high esteem. But what about laws and governance? Well, the Vikings were not just raiders and traders. They were also lawmakers. They had a democratic assembly known as the Thing. Here, free men gathered to make laws, judge disputes, and make decisions that affected the community. It was here that the rule of law was upheld and justice was meted out. So, you see, Viking society was a finely balanced ecosystem where everyone had a role to play, from the noble Jarls to the humble thralls, from the hardy Carls to the formidable Viking women. It was a society that valued family, fairness, and a sense of community. The Viking society was not just about war and conquest, but also about law, order, and family. The Vikings had a rich spiritual life filled with gods, rituals, and beliefs that guided their daily lives. Their pantheon was a vibrant assembly of divine beings, each with their unique attributes and domains. Odin, the All-Father, was the god of wisdom, war, and poetry. Thor, with his mighty hammer Mjolnir, was the protector of mankind, revered for his strength and courage. Freya, the goddess of love, beauty, and fertility, was also a fierce warrior and ruler of the afterlife realm, Folkvang. The Vikings held a firm belief in fate, a predetermined path set by the three Norns, or fate goddesses, that even the gods couldn't alter. Rituals played a crucial role in their lives, from sacrifices to the gods for good fortune, to elaborate burials that ensured a glorious journey to the afterlife. The Vikings' religion was a fundamental part of their identity, shaping their worldview and their actions. The Viking Raids are legendary. a testament to their prowess in battle and their thirst for wealth and glory. These daring escapades were not mindless acts of violence, but rather strategic endeavors, fueled by a desire for riches, honor, and a better life. The Vikings were seafaring warriors from Scandinavia who, from the late 8th to the early 11th century, raided and traded from their homelands across wide areas of Europe. They were driven by a variety of factors, including overpopulation and a lack of arable land in their native lands. But perhaps the most significant factor was their quest for wealth. The monasteries and towns of Europe were rich in resources and ripe for plundering. The Vikings were masters of surprise attacks. They would swoop down on unsuspecting communities, using their superior longships to navigate rivers and strike deep into enemy territory. Their strategies were brutal but effective, leaving their adversaries little time to react. One of the most famous Viking raids was the attack on the monastery at Lindisfarne, an island off the northeast coast of England, in 793. This attack is often considered the beginning of the Viking Age. The Vikings descended on the unsuspecting monks, looting the monastery of its treasures and leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. The attack on Lindisfarne sent shockwaves throughout Europe and marked the Vikings as a force to be reckoned with. The Viking raids had a profound impact on Europe. They not only brought terror and destruction, but they also facilitated cultural exchange and the spread of Norse culture. The Vikings established trade routes, set up colonies, and even founded cities, such as Dublin in Ireland. Moreover, the raids also expanded the Vikings' influence across Europe. They established settlements in places as far-reaching as England, France, Italy, and even as far as Russia and the Byzantine Empire. Their influence can still be felt today in the language, culture, and place names of these regions. The Viking raids were not just acts of violence, but also a way for the Vikings to establish their presence and assert their power. Among the Vikings, some stood out for their deeds, their leadership, and their legacy. Let's delve into the lives of a few such individuals. First off, we have Eric the Red, a name that's as fiery as the man himself. Eric was not just a Viking, but a pioneer, establishing the first Norse settlements in Greenland. His adventurous spirit was truly emblematic of the Viking era. Then there's Harold Bluetooth, a name that might sound familiar to those of you who enjoy wireless technology. But before his name was synonymous with connectivity, Harold was busy uniting Denmark and Norway under his rule. A leader with vision and ambition, Harold epitomized the Vikings' knack for conquering and ruling. Moving along, we encounter the legendary Leif Erikson, son of Eric the Red. He's widely considered the first European to set foot in North America, almost 500 years before Columbus. These Vikings left their mark on history, a testament to the Vikings' impact that continues to be felt today. The Vikings were more than just warriors. They were explorers, settlers, traders, and lawmakers. Their society was complex, with a unique religion interwoven with their daily life. Their raids, while brutal, were also strategic, facilitating trade and expansion. And the famous Vikings, they were not just mythical figures, but real people who made significant contributions. Whether feared or admired, the Vikings have left a lasting legacy, a fascinating chapter in the annals of history.